Long before he gave us his Spider-Man trilogy, he gave us this superhero flick. And can you believe it's been 35 years since it came out? You better believe it. Here's my re-review of Sam Raimi's classic Darkman. Big T's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 1990 superhero horror flick Darkman, released by Universal, directed and co-written by Sam Raimi. Starring Liam Neeson in the title role, aka scientist Peyton Westlake, was brutally attacked, disfigured, and left for dead by a ruthless mobster after his girlfriend, an attorney, runs afoul of a corrupt developer. But experimental treatment gives Westlake superhuman strength and resilience, with the unintended side effect of rendering him mentally unstable and borderline psychotic. Consumed with vengeance, he continues his research with the new goal of hunting down those who disfigured him. The film was released on this day, August 24th, 1990. Henceforth, today is the film's 35th anniversary. Now, of course, this was produced by Renaissance Pictures, which of course is Sam Raimi's company, after recently doing the first two installments of the Evil Dead series. Universal would later release the third installment, Army of Darkness, a few years later. Now, Raimi was intending to do The Shadow, but was turned down, but Universal would release that a few years later. So instead, Raimi chose to create an original superhero based on a short story he wrote that paid homage to Universal's horror films of the 1930s. So, this film eventually became a pretty big success, in a way. Here's our story. Dr. Peyton Westlake, a scientist developing a prototype for a new synthetic skin to help burn victims, but cannot overcome a flaw that causes the skin to disintegrate after 99 minutes. His girlfriend, Julie Hastings, discovers an incriminating document called the Belisarius Memorandum, which proves her boss, real estate developer Louis Strack Jr., has been bribing members of the zoning commission. When she confronts Strack, he confesses to the bribery because it aided in his plans for designing a new city and creating countless jobs. He also warns her that the document could potentially be sought after by high ranking criminals for its value. Following a breakthrough, Westlake realizes that the synthetic skin is photosensitive, and that light causes the material to break down. However, vicious crime boss Robert G. Durant and his armed thugs suddenly invade Westlake's lab, searching for the Belisarius Memorandum, which Julie had left behind. Westlake is brutally tortured while his lab assistant Yakitito is murdered. Durant rigs the lab to explode and escapes with the document. Westlake is horrifyingly disfigured by the blast and thrown from the building. As a John Doe, Westlake is brought to a hospital and subjected to an experimental nerve procedure to eliminate the physical pain from his burns. However, as a side effect of the procedure, his emotions are amplified, also triggering an adrenal overload that gives him enhanced strength. Westlake awakens from a coma, escapes from the hospital, and discovers his plight. Realizing Julie believes he's dead, he reestablishes his lab in an abandoned building, hoping to perfect his synthetic skin to fix his scarred face and body. Overcome with anger at his circumstances, Westlake decides to seek revenge against Durant and his thugs. Westlake finds and tortures Durant's associate Rick, for information before murdering him. Wesley begins using his synthetic skin to create masks of Durand's associates, while also developing a talent for impressionism. He is successfully able to pose as the various criminals, creating distrust amongst one another that eventually leads them to killing one of their own, Polly. Westlake is eventually able to recreate his own face as a mask and goes to Julie. He convinces her that he was in a coma and keeps his disfigurement form, well, a bit from her, making up excuses to leave before the synthetic skin breaks down. However, during a date at a carnival with Julie, which believe me, that part's a classic, Westlake loses his temper and assaults a worker by bending his two fingers and breaking them. And believe me, that'll hurt like you know what. Know what I'm saying? Well, Westlake, well, flees, and Julie follows him to the abandoned building and realizes that his face was only a mask. After tearfully confessing that she still loves him, she leaves. While later talking to Strack, Julie reveals to him that Westlake is still alive. She then discovers the Belisarius memorandum on his desk and realizes he was in league with Durant the entire time. When Julie leaves, Strack tells Durant to deal with both her and Westlake. Durant kidnaps Julie and has his remaining cohorts storm Westlake's new laboratory. Westlake manages to take them out, blowing up his own lab to murder the final thug. Durant flees in a helicopter with Westlake dangling from an attached cable. Westlake manages to attach the cable to a semi-trailer, which pulls the helicopter into an explosive collision, seemingly killing Durant. Now for the ending, you know the procedure. You've got 5 seconds to stop this video at once. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below as I start counting down now. If you've seen this movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Impersonating Durant, Westlake meets up with Strack and a Captain Julie at the top of an unfinished building. Strack sees through Westlake's ruse and pulls his mask off, revealing his disfigured face to Julie. A brawl breaks out, and though injured during the fight, Westlake gains the upper hand and drops Strack to his death. Julie tries to convince Westlake that he can still return to his old life, but he refuses. Having been changed by his quest for revenge and new vicious nature, he slips away from Julie, pulling on a mask and running into a crowd of pedestrians. As Julie searches for him, a disguised Westlake watches her from a moment before walking away. In his mind, he declares himself to be Darkman. End of story. So, what did I think of Darkman? I must say, this is a great movie. This is a real masterpiece from Sam Raimi. Now, aside from after doing the Evil Dead films, and this was long before he gave us the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire. I gotta say, this is really something. I actually do have the movie along with its 2 direct-to-video sequels, which I'll get to in a moment. This was such an incredible film, and this I think was one of Liam Neeson's early attempts. Yes. Anyway, and here, artist Tony Gardner designed and created the elaborate makeup effects required to turn Neeson into Darkman. This was also his first action film in the main role. The film went on to become a big success, going on to make $48 million worldwide above its $14 million budget. According to the reviews, Rotten Tomatoes has a score of 85, saying gruesome and deliciously broad. Sam Raimi's Darkman bears the haunted soulfulness of gothic tragedy while packing the stylistic verve of onomatopoeia, excuse me if I mispronounce it, springing off a comic strip page. Metacritic has a score 65, while audiences polled by CinemaScore unfortunately gave us an average C+. LA Times film critic Michael Wilmington felt that the film was the only film at the time that successfully captures the graphic look, rhythm, and style of the superhero books. The New Yorker's Terrence Rafferty said Raimi works from inside and cheerfully violent adolescent male sensibility of superhero comics, as if there were no higher style for a filmmaker to aspire to in the absence of condescension, condescension is refreshing. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone wrote, Raimi's live action comic book aims to deliver scares spiked with laughs that it does. It got lots of others in my view. Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up on their show at the movies. So it eventually got a lot of good response. After this, there would be numerous other things. 2 direct-to-video sequels, minus Neeson and Raimi. Now, although Renaissance Pictures was still involved with the production of this, and Universal's, well, home video subsidiary at the time, which was MCA Universal, produced 2 films, which started with The Return of Durant in 1995, and then a year later with Darkman 3, Die Darkman Die. Now, the third film was originally intended to be the second one, while Return of Durant was intended to be the second film. And of course, um, I may revisit those, re-review those later down the road. Anyway, yeah. The music was composed by Danny Elfman, who, of course, after recently doing the music for Tim Burton's Batman the previous year and lots of other films from Mr. Burton. Of course, Raimi wanted to do this after Batman was such a success. And I gotta tell you, it's really something, as I've said. Danny Elfman does an exceptionally good job with the score for this and what have you. Sure, this does have a few bit of cheesiness and what have you, like what we got with Batman, but nevertheless, it proved to be pretty awesome with its fun, action-packed sequences and all that jazz. It was just so incredible. Also, aside from the 2 direct-to-video sequels, there was also adaptations including novels, comic books, and even video games. Of course, there was an NES game and a Game Boy game, but they were both different games, though published by Ocean. Of course, I know that's a company a lot of gaming fanatics never really cared for much, and that's understandable. But aside from that, let's get into our cast. Liam Neeson plays Dr. Payne Westlake, aka Darkman. I must admit, this is one of his great performances. I absolutely loved him in this performance. This was a great one. And like I said, the bit at the carnival is classic. I absolutely love it, especially when he gets really tore up at once he breaks the guy's fingers and what have you, and tells Julie to take the pink outfit and what have you. He just, wow. Now, if you have seen the film, you'll see a little cameo by Bruce Campbell, credited as Final Shemp. Yes, in the end of the film. Playing Julie Hastings is Frances McDormand. I must say, she does exceptionally good job in this performance. She's absolutely very, very good. Playing, well, one of the villains, Louis Strack Jr., is Colin Friels, who had actually done several films before this. Most of them I wasn't too familiar with. Well, now one he did get nominated for numerous, well, won an award for, which was a film called Malcolm. He also did several other films after this, but most of them I'm afraid I'm not too familiar with, to be honest. Now for the role of Robert G. Durand, it's not their choice was Larry Drake, who most people would know him for playing Benny Stowicks on TV's LA Law. After doing Darkman, he would later go on to play the titular role of the the well homicidal mental patient who escapes an insane asylum, which of course that was the film Dr. Giggles, which Universal would later release. There would be lots of others and what have you. Two from the Evil Dead 2 film, which include Dan Hicks and Sam Raimi's own brother Ted. Although he was credited as Theodore. But there were lots of others. There was Nicholas Wirt, Dan Bell, and Raphael H. Robledo. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. They played Durant's gang: Rick, Skip, Polly, Sam, aka Smiley, and Rudy. Yes. Jesse Lawrence Ferguson and Arsenio Sonny Trinidad play rival crime bosses A. Black and Hung Fat, respectively. So apparently, yes. Oh, what's more is another one of Sam's brothers, Ivan, who, as a matter of fact, was was also involved in co-writing the screenplay for this as a cameo, and director John Landis as well. Plus, there was Joel and Ethan Coen and Jenny Agutter. The same year, she had appeared in another Universal release, which that, of course, was Child's Play 2. So believe me, the list goes on with these here stars. So Darkman is definitely a film that's definitely got fun moments and what have you, especially if it's an R-rated superhero horror flick. But hey, I loved this movie. This is very good and it's awesome. It's got a great story, great characters, a great story, and great direction from Sam Raimi. You can't go wrong with. So overall, would I recommend Darkman? The answer would be hell yeah, go for it. Oh yeah, and don't forget let's not forget Danny Elfman's score. That's another good thing about it. So, what did you think of Darkman? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. And I'm just a subscriber or two away from 1,000. Keep it up. I'm glad my vids are reaching out to everyone. Please stand by. Sorry about that, but stay tuned. We will have another video coming up for you soon. So if you like this, check out my reviews for these two films that came out before Darkman that also involved someone who really got taken out big time, but re-emerged as a big superhero, or should I say crime fighter. In the upper left-hand corner, check out my review of the original RoboCop from 1987, or go to the upper right-hand corner and see my review of its sequel, RoboCop 2 from 1989. Or if you'd like some more Liam Neeson, check out my review of his 2009 flick, Taken, in the bottom left hand corner. In the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.